Hello everyone. In this video, we will see how to build a feed-forward neural network using TensorFlow 2.0 for identifying handwritten digits. So let's check out which version we are using. So just execute the first cell where we have written TensorFlow underscore version. It will identify which version we are currently using in Google Colab. So we are expecting it should provide 2.x. Previous versions are also available. We can also use that one. But here in this video, we are going to use TensorFlow 2.0. So it is indicating currently we have selected TensorFlow version 2.x and we are fine with it. We are going to use the same one. Now next thing is getting MNIST dataset. So let's check out what is meant by MNIST dataset and how we can take MNIST dataset for our neural network. So MNIST dataset, MNIST stands for Modified National Institute of Standard Technology Database. It is actually the large data base of handwritten digits that will be commonly used for training various image processing systems. So we can say that it is just like a hello world program for the neural network. Basically, whenever we want to work with images, that neural network will be trained on MNIST dataset and accordingly changes will be done for the required datasets. So let's try to import TensorFlow as TF because we are going to build the neural network by using TensorFlow. One of the great things that TensorFlow has provided to us is it has inbuilt pre-packed datasets, and one of the dataset is MNIST. So just import TensorFlow as TF and then we can take MNIST dataset from tf.keras.datasets. Under this dataset, one of the dataset is MNIST and we are just taking that data in MNIST. Now after that we have that dataset but we haven't loaded that dataset. So in order to load that dataset we have load underscore data method. So mnist.load underscore data method will provide two important tuples. First tuple is xtrain ytrain that is used for training, and second tuple is xtest ytest that is used for testing the model. So remember this, we have downloaded the datasets from storage.googleapi.com slash tensorflow slash tensorflow-keras.datasets. Important is the file, MNIST file, and it is npz. Npz stands for numpy zip file. So we have downloaded that dataset. Now let's check out shape of xtrain and ytrain. How many instances we have for training? So totally 60,000 images, handwritten images are available for training purpose, and 60,000 corresponding actual outputs are available over there. Each image will be of size 28, 28. That's why we are getting xtrain shape as 60,000, 28, 28 and ytrain as 60,000. Let's check out how many testing examples we have for the testing our model. So totally we have 10,000 testing images. Again, each image is of size 28, 28. That's why x test shape is 10,000, 28, 28. While y test shape is 10,000 because it is just a number assigned to each image indicating what is exact label associated with that image. So let's check out first image shape. Xtrain into bracket first image dot shape, it provides us 28, 28. Now what is first image? So first image includes numbers. So we can check out the information that we have received. So basically xtrain first is an array, numpy array, where we have 28 rows, and every row will include 28 columns. So this is first row, and 13 plus 13 plus 2, 28 columns are there. Likewise, we have 28 rows. Okay, so the numbers that rows are holding over there are ranging between 0 to 255. So 0 indicates black color and 255 indicates white color. So basically it is a grayscale image. So numbers are indicating the intensity of that pixel. Now these numbers are not so much interpretable. So let's try to include matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and from the IamShow. So here we are using IamShow method to indicate what that first image is. So this number corresponds to the 0 written in this fashion. Okay, so white first is actually the true label associated with this image, and it is 0. Okay, so white includes true values associated with the image, but problem is that so some of the values are ranging between 0 to 255 as an input. So we have to bind these values from 0 to 1 only. Why? Because some of the values are very close to 0, some of the values are close to 255, so it is huge range. And again, this is input. Remember this, in single neuron we are trying to perform W transpose X plus B. So W transpose X is actually the input, and input values are ranging from 0 to 255. Then obviously those output will be very high, and in sigmoid or tanh activation function, it will enter into the saturation state where learning will not be fast, the slopes are very small. So how to deal with this problem? So just divide each number by 255, which will help us to bind the pixel values from 0 to 1. So we have successfully divided that all the images. Remember this, there is no necessity to use for loop over here. It is using vectorization concept where it is just dividing each and every image from this array by 255. Now xtrain 1 gets modified in something like this, where values will be ranging from 0 to 1 as per our expectation. Now most important part, now we have image is of size 28 comma 28. So 28 rows will be there and 28 columns will be there. Okay, but since this is the first program for neural network, what we will do, instead of passing this as an image, we will pass as an array. So we have to convert this 28 comma 28 image into an array. Okay, so first row will be placed in 28 positions, then second row will be placed in next 28 position, then third row will be placed in next 28 position. Likewise 28 into 28 elements will be there. So it is 784. So we are going to change the shape. How to change the shape? So that can be done with the help of reshape. Okay, so we are changing xtrain's shape to 60,000 comma 784 and x test shape 10,000 comma 784. So let's check out first image shape now. So now it is 784. It is not showing 28 comma 28. Now successfully we have converted that image of size 28 comma 28 to a single array of size 784. Now we have also seen the actual output. So actual output are presented to us in N and Y test. Now those values are 0, 1, 2, 3. Likewise, but how our neural network will identify which image we have to we have given. So for that we have to convert these numbers into an array. So that array is called as one hot encoding. What is one hot encoding? So since this value is 0, so in array one location will be placed with 0, sorry 1, and all the other positions will be placed to 0 up to 9th. Okay, so if original output is 1, then we are going to place 1 to the position in an array where we are indicating 1. Rest of the elements will be 0. Same is for 2. So 0, 0 and then 1. So this one corresponds to the 2 in an array. Likewise, rest of the elements will be 0. So this is one hot encoding. Why we are converting this? Because in our neural network we are expecting 10 neurons in the last layer, and the only neuron will be fired correspond to that number. Means only 0th position element neuron will be activated, rest of the elements will be 0. Same is true for first. So first position element will be executed, or neuron will be fired up in order to indicate this is 1, not the other element. How to do that? So for that, Keras has provided one method inside it under TensorFlow. So TensorFlow.keras.utils.toCategorical. ToCategorical help us to convert a single digit into the one hot encoding. Now let's check out why is ytrain. What is ytrain 1? Okay, ytrain 1 is 10000000000. Okay, so previously we have printed ytrain. Its value was 0. Now here we are getting 1 to the location where we are representing 0. So first element in an array is representing 0. That's why its value is 1. Rest of the elements are 0. Okay, now it's time to build our neural network. So how to create a model in TensorFlow 2.0? So there are different types of model. So first and simple one is sequential model. Sequential model says that you have to place number of layers one after another, where input will flow from first layer to last layer in the layered format sequentially. So we are using that over here, tf.keras.model.sequential. It will provide a empty model to us. Now in that model we are going to add the layers. How to add the layers? So under tf.keras.layers, different layers are available. So first layer will be input layer. So we are going to importing that tf.keras.layers.input layer. Now this input layer is responsible for taking input of shape 784. We have converted that extend images and extend images in 784 shape. So we are using that input shape over here. Remember this, input shape must be a parameter for the first layer of neural network. Now after that we are adding the different layers. tf.keras.layers.dense. We have added dense layer which will have 128 neurons with activation function ReLU. We have added another layer which will have 64 neurons, and again its activation function is ReLU. So these two hidden layers we have included in our model. Now next is final output layer. Now for that we have again used tf.keras.layer.dense. It will include 10 neurons, and remember this, we have used activation function as softmax since this is multi-class classification problem. If this is binary class classification problem, then you can use activation function as sigmoid or tanh. But here we have multi-class classification problem where the output will be 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. So this is multi-class classification problem. So we have used softmax activation function. Now we can print the model summary also, and that can be printed with the help of model.summary. So we are getting model as sequential one. So first layer is dense layer, which will be an input layer having input size as 784. Now this layer has 128 neuron. How we are getting this parameters value? So it is just simple one. So what we have to do, we have to perform multiplication. 784 inputs are there into how many neurons are there? We have 128 neurons, and it will provide some value, and we have to add 128 bias, and its output will be exactly as 100480. Now total parameters are 109386. So these many parameters will be learned by our neural network. So it is quite huge in number. Trainable parameters are 109 comma 386. So these many weights plus bias will be learned by our neural network. So we have successfully created our model, but we haven't specified how our model will be trained on the X-train and Y-train. So for that we have to use model.compile. So here we are using optimizer as stochastic gradient descent. Stochastic gradient descent is an optimizer algorithm that helps us to minimize the losses based on identifying the gradients or derivatives at that point. Okay, but what is meant by loss and how loss will be calculated? So losses will be calculated by taking into account y and y cap. Y is actual output, y cap is the predicted output. Now for that we are using categorical cross entropy loss. So tf.keras.losses.categorical cross entropy losses we are using over here to identify the losses from the actual and the predicted, or we are using matrix as a accuracy. Out of 100 handwritten digits, how many digits our model has identified correctly? So that is the accuracy parameter. So we are saying that our neural network is going to use stochastic gradient descent algorithm with categorical cross entropy loss and matrix as accuracy. Now it's time to train our model on the X train and Y train. So it is simple one, model.fit. We have to pass X train, that is the instances on which our neural network will be trained. Y train, that is actual output. It is important to calculate categorical cross entropy, and epochs is equal to 10, means total 60,000 images will be taken for 10 times for training our neural network. We have used batch size is equal to 10. What is meant by batch size? Small parts which will have the size is equal to 10. So let's train our model and check out how much accuracy we are getting. It will take some time. So in the first epoch itself we are getting almost 88% accuracy. So why we are getting 6,000 over here? Because we have created batch size of 10. So total how many? 6,000 batches will be created. Each batch will have 10 instances. That is 6,000 into 10, it is 60,000 images. Okay, so 60,000 images will be taken into account. After each one batch, weights will be updated. So there is no necessity to update the weight for each instance, training instance, but after the batch. And this will continue for 10 epochs. So we are getting almost accuracy as 98%. and in ninth epoch we are getting 98.51% accuracy, and this is last epoch where we are getting accuracy as 98.69. So I hope you are getting how to build a neural network with TensorFlow 2.0 for identifying handwritten digits. In next video, we will see how to print the graph for this and how to analyze the graph to learn the overfitting and underfitting. Thank you for watching the video.